Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of Outer Worlds with me, Eskimo Kai. Um, so how are y'all doing since the last part? So we're just going to continue from the where we left off last time. We're about to go into Edgewater. So as we're loading up, we'll just have a quick recap. Got my butt absolutely handed to me several times by marauders, by some primal creatures, and yeah, now we've got a ship. Now we have a sniper rifle, a shotgun, a submachine gun, and a load of other weapons we can break down. We're just about to head into Edgewater, which is the main kind of place we want to go for the first, I'd say, like quarter of the game. Like a lot of side quests are from here. A lot of explanation to the lore of the game comes from here. Um, like you'll find out here now in a second that um, the actual people here are quite nice.
Junior in humor for the town of
Um,
Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family.
oh, lovely.
Got a knack for being discreet.
So just took two pot shots there at
long as you keep your nose. Edgewater is a company.
two enemies.
Board
Didn't
owned and
connect either
operated.
of them.
That includes the
But
cemetery. None of us own our grave sites. We rent them from the company.
these are nice, easy
Renting means money.
XP to get.
Four workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis,
They were all the
Conrad,
weak sauce, which is nice.
Mark Abernathy.
Just sunk only about 15-20 bullets into all of them there, outside of my two absolutely horrific shots I took on there.
He just is. Look, I don't want to get into
But yeah, we're going to go to
Make
Edgewater
sure
there
he
now in a
pays up.
second. Also, do you think I should also
Yeah?
put on a shotgun and
You could
and
look at
a
it
submachine
that way, I
gun instead of
suppose. You could look at us and say,
instead of the
"Those
two other
Edgewater
useless
sap
ones that we
gear
have?
every soul to play."
What's that? That's
But
the
you'd be
assault
wrong.
rifle,
We're
shotgun.
survivors. Loyal company folk.
Swap
brave
to
in
our
the
pistol,
wilds.
and we'll just swap out the other two because it just makes a bit more sense to have the
Every
assault
now and again,
rifle
a
and the
virulent
hunting
plague
rifle
sweeps through our
together because, you
town.
know, they're
That's
like
life on
keep
the
our
frontier, I
close
suppose.
range,
A body
our
grows
like our
accustomed.
close to medium range, our close range, our medium to long range, and our long range together. It just makes it
Hang
that
on,
small bit
doing
easier
some
when you're
math
trying to
in my
take out
head.
enemies.
20, 30,
So yeah, we're only about 2 minutes in, and we'll
all my life,
sugar.
work's been real good to me. Fresh
We'll
air,
resume and we'll go
exercise.
ahead.
Only problem's the paperwork.
2 seconds I
Anybody
have to
pay their
restart
gracious
recording again because I messed up. Okay, let's
Former
resume.
people, yeah.
So
Marauder's been raiding my grave, you see.
this is part 2
Hence the armed guards.
of Outer Worlds, which is a nice open world game. Um, Nothing too crazy, nothing too mysterious about the game. You've probably seen 100 playthroughs of it since it's come out. So here we're just gonna meet Silas. We like Silas.
Oh no.
We do a lot of work for
They
Silas.
are after the most
Silas is a
precious
kind
of
man.
all.
So
Spacer's
we'll just
Choice
hear him out.
Company property. If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna dock my pay.
How do you know I'm not a marauder? I'm just passing through. I never got your name. My name is Eskimo Kai. In Hummer. I'm looking to make a little bit of money. Making money is quite easy in this game. The first time I played it, I actually forgot to collect all my side quests from the sheriff, and I ended up doing them all. That was not too bad because like I ended up actually getting that stuff done. So that's our new side quest that we're going to do. A small grave matter. So we're just going to collect all those stuff for Silas here, so he doesn't have to worry. Why is Abernathy a special case? I personally think that the name Abernathy's might be a bit of an Easter egg towards what you call it, Westworld. Because Westworld, what's his name, Abernathy was the guy who had all that, the memories and the stuff that went wrong in season 2 in his head, wasn't it? He was like, have you ever seen such wondrous delights and stuff? It's a great show if you haven't. You're not worried about falling sick. Great show. Season 3 was absolutely phenomenal. The ending of season 3 was phenomenal. The whole of Westworld was phenomenal. How do you Junior? Gravedigger? Whatever. Um, so, like, I'd strongly recommend watching Westworld. A fantastic show. Other shows I watched have been like, Legion, which sadly ended, but, you have to end a show like Legion because you lose a lot of people to Marauders. Because, like, it actually had a specific ending towards the end of it. 2 seconds there, I'm just untangling all my cables. You see, we're playing this on Xbox, and my poor old wireless receiver on my Xbox is a bit
I've been requisitioning
broken.
backup for months. Guess the boss
Sorry, I thought there was someone at the door. Why are
Have
they
you
after
ever swung a
loot?
truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance.
So
I want to make sure
yeah,
you're up to snuff.
Legion was good. Westworld was fantastic. The Mandalorian finished up there around Christmas time, which was a fantastic series. Love me some Mandalorian. My brother ended up getting me Grogu, a Grogu doll, so for Christmas. So he's sitting up on our on my mantelpiece, looking at me, with his hand raised, going like, "Give me stuff." Okay, so we're just gonna sneak in here. One of the main things to do when you're taking stuff from Edgewater is to make sure you close the door once you sneak in, because they can't catch you if you're stealing stuff when the door is closed. Just from my own experiences, avoid criminal detection. Hence why I closed the door. Heavy ammo, bread, pretty much everything that isn't nailed down to the ground will be taken. Ooh, a music box. So as you can see, I'm just picking up all the spare gubbins that he won't have any use for. He's just an NPC. Take that. That's pretty much everything taken now. How about up high? So like with other Obsidian games and other big big open world games, there's just loot everywhere. It's not hard to loot everything because you just close the door and they can't see you for the most part. Now it will weigh you down, because every item has a weight, so just be careful on that when you're playing. Hence why I put a bit more into my weight carrying, because I like being a bit of a broad mix to be able to get everything done all at once. Because I don't like coming back to places. It's a bit of a nuisance. Like, it was the same in like every game I played. I've always made sure I've just like put everything on the to-do list the moment I got to a new area, and once I finished that area I had all the side quests done and stuff. So that's how I play. I usually get all my side quests done before the main mission is done. So like you get up a higher level and you just end up getting a lot more stuff done. Miller's a bit crazy. Nice but crazy. You have gray sights. What are you babbling on about? Man versus machines. Cold, heartless adaptation made of iron and lies. He sounds like, one of those old people who's like, I don't trust this self-scanning stuff. Like, I don't do those, I don't use those self-service checkouts. Like, no, you should use them. They're very handy. But, like, these are, like, just showing his age here, Miller, going like, I don't believe this stuff should be allowed in. So, what are your guys' favorite bands? One of my favorite bands is Trivium. Great band. You should look them up. I am here for hire. But yeah. What you need done? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, cool. It's just like hit it in the middle. So like a lot of the stuff that I listen to would be deemed as heavy metal, because it is. Like I listen to a lot of Slipknot. I listen to a lot of Trivium. I listen to a lot of like, I don't even know. Like, if you look at my playlists, it's a whole lot of everything, just thrown in together. Like, I'll listen to like Metallica, Trivium, Slipknot, everything really, because life is too short to worry about, you know. Oh, that's 180. What's my other one? 180. 2 seconds. Okay, that assault rifle needs to be broken down. So where was I? Yes, music. So if you're ever interested in finding out more about what I'm listening to, you can always let me know, and I can put like a link to my general playlist online if you want. Like, it's a lot of metal. I don't know if that's going to be your thing, but I have a few of them. Like, I have a chilled classical. Now, that's not my own made chilled classical. That's, you know, your atypical Spotify one. Okay, so we're at the shops now at the moment. Sorry. The lads messaging me, going like, when you want to reply to us? Which I don't do. So I'm an awful person. So I just don't reply. I'm not a great person for replying to people. Never been great at the whole replying. It's awful. Like, my friends could turn around, it's like, where have you gone? It's like, I don't know. Like, for the most part, I stay at home. So, yes, sorry. These are attributes, things that you can drink that make you have longer effects. I personally don't use them. Because, like, you know, I really should, but, like, it's a case that they affect you, you know? Like, you can't aim down sight properly. And for someone who doesn't drink in real life, I understand the whole, you know, this is how it affects you, this is what you shouldn't be doing and stuff. But, like, you know, I just don't play these games for that reason. We can get rid of that. That's a 4 as well. 2 seconds there. Rebuilding mining gear. Yeah. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I just don't use a lot of the stuff in this game because I just find it bloody useless. Like, I'm one of those people who will sell everything, even though he's not supposed to, just to save, like, you know, stuff in my inventory. Ooh, I think this one has an amazing scope on it. Oh yeah, so these are the impact hammers, which are fantastic. I love the good old impact hammer. Mr. Zap, Special Grill, Nightingale Grill. So those are just modifications that I'm going to, because these modifications are fantastic. Increase the amount of ammunition carried by the thing. That's how. Armor, consumables, mods. Funtime barrel. Great hit. Really, what we're just trying to find. I'm trying to find the super scope. There's a super scope on this in this game that I throw onto a sniper rifle. So the reason I want to get that scope onto that sniper rifle is just because late game you do really need a kind of a longer scope, because you get into cities, you get into a greater area where just having a better draw distance. When you're watching this, if you can remember to get a sniper scope, that would be awesome. Because to get that sniper scope, it just means it's going to be a lot easier. The last few minutes is going to be hard to see because I accidentally forgot to press record on my Xbox. Now you will have audio for a few seconds beforehand. I might just throw in like a blank title screen or something. We'll figure that out. Screw it. Cool. 600. Right then, we just don't have the money for that. Ooh, I like this gun. It's a good gun. So before we go and do this, go into the actual Edgewater, we're just gonna have a quick look around the area. Take him out. But yeah, most of them, you'll probably hear me singing every K9 Spacer's Choice. You go going to Terra 2 this week. I've decided to study Dark Lighting and all that stuff. You know, so what else was I saying? Sometimes I hear me singing. That's just solely from the music that I've been playing on my headphones, because I find just talking to myself and recording is rather difficult when you have no one to bounce ideas off. Like, if this isn't Twitch, this isn't Facebook, you know, it's I record these before I put them out, I edit them, so like, just really talking to myself. So these are the things that they were studying. It's nice to get them. A bit of gubbins is never wrong to get. Because the more gubbins you have, the less likely you're going to be broke like me. So this year hasn't been great for most of us. With the whole COVID, the whole everything going to hell. So like, you know, if you have any comments, anything that you want to say to me, work away. And like, if you want to call me an idiot for missing obvious things I could collect, let me know. I played this game a couple of times, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it. I'm by far the least experienced gamer out there, I'd say. Like, I've been playing games since the N64, but like, it's been a case that I was an outdoor kid. I like outdoors with my brother, you know? I played rugby, I liked sports, I like cycling, you know? Like one of those kids who liked going outdoors. We only really got like, we got an N64 originally. My brother got an N64, which was the greatest thing in the world. Like it is the game station that I first learned how to play. Like you know, good games. You know, I played the James Bond games. I played GoldenEye on it. I played Mario on it. I Ocarina of Time was my jam as a kid. As with every kid who loved Ocarina of Time and Zelda, like I have a Zelda tattoo and the Triforce on my wrist, like every other fan of Zelda. You know, it's one of those things. I have a good couple of tattoos that are all in relation to like nerdy stuff. Like I have a Lord of the Rings tattoo because I love Lord of the Rings. I've a space one because space is awesome. So what has your favorite album of 2022 been? We've had some absolute bangers like the new Trivium album. One of my all-time favorites of last year. I believe there was the Slipknot album that came out the year before or so. Like I should really pull up my dates for all these albums, but the last 2 years have been really good for music. Like there was a new Slipknot album, there was a new Trivium album, there was a new Lamb of God album, I'm pretty sure. Judas Priest are supposed to be bringing out a new album, which, you know, is going to be amazing. Judas Priest are a great band. Unfortunately, one of my favorite bands that I really liked, I Wrestled a Bear Once, broke up, but the singer restarted with a new band called Spirit Box. Absolute bangers of tunes. Her vocals are both amazing and terrifying. As like harsh vocals goes, she has a great voice in her. For example, if you want to hear the difference between singers, look at I Wrestled a Bear Once and look for Kevin Bacon, and then go to the Cat's Pajamas, and then listen to Boat Paddle from Hail Mary, I'm pretty sure is the name of the album that was off, and you'll see the absolute massive difference in her singing style. Like I personally loved the first singer, I can't remember her name. I loved her because she was fantastic. Like she was my introduction to heavy metal women singing outside of Arch Enemy, you know, like this is real guttural stuff. Like everything else I listen to that features a female singer generally is generally like Lacuna Coil, a lot more stuff like Nightwish, that's like a lot more like symphonic metal. I like symphonic metal a lot. I like the nice big tone. I like the orchestral size of every piece. Like if you listen to what album? Listen to what album is it? It's a fantastic album. Sorry. Oh, that's the level up thing I was saying earlier on that Cebu loves. She loves that. Goes da 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 da, which is fantastic. What was I saying? I was saying something very much to you. Bands. So it'd be like Nightwish, Lacuna Coil, Amarith, which is like, you know, a new
Marauder's gone
symphonic metal band. Symphonic would be the wrong word. It's kind of more new age, kind of leaning towards how would I best describe it? It would be more like what's their music like? Because like there is a few bands that they sound like because their song Dynamite is fantastic. Look up Dynamite. You'll see what I mean. It's very unusual for a typical metal. It's more big place writing. Unlock personal files. Okay, that's everything now. So like another few bands I would listen to would be Avatar. I know, not really metal, but they're still a very good band. They're more like rock, I would say more like they do use your stereotypical heavily downtuned guitars to drop the tuning, which is what we go E, which is like a whole like I almost in years. Like, they have some great songs. Killer Be Killed, great band if you're into like super groups. Does that have members from like Sepultura, Mastodon, I think the guy from the guy from Queens of Stone Age is in the band too. So like, you know, it's a very good album. In 2 seconds. I just need to reply to someone. Oh, so another couple of bands I love. In Flames. In Flames is a fantastic band. They were probably one of my first metal bands I listened to. Like, I come from classical music and flamenco music and Spanish guitar and stuff like that. As a musician myself, I learned how to do classical and Spanish guitar because that was what my parents wanted. Whereas I really got into rock and metal when I was about 13, 14, which I loved. I loved hearing it. Like, that said, when I was growing up, my father used to play a lot of like Queen, Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull. He was really into like the Eagles, stuff like that. You know, like your atypical classic rock that you could just chill out listening to while driving, which is the best way to describe it.
A friend of mine died a couple weeks back. Still ain't past it.
Yes, I'm fine.
But yeah, no, like my father loved Eagles, classic rock. I love classic rock. I still do. Like, I love Extreme. I love Rainbow. Anything by Halloween. Like, like that's the music I like. That said, there's a lot more stuff open to listen to. Like, I have a few playlists that have just like for work or for the gym. Not that I go to the gym, but for if I ever decide to go back to the gym, I have like some awful trap music that's supposed to motivate
Oh,
you.
sweet merciful law.
If you're into
The
that sort of
marauders
music,
in my
alright,
domicile.
that's, you know, each to their own. It's not for me.
There's a reason you're running
I feel
around
the
outfitted
lack
like one of those monsters.
distorted
Did
guitars
Mr.
disturbing,
Thompson send you to put the
or
fear
the
in
lack
me?
of anything.
Well, you
in,
tell
like,
Mr.
trap
Thompson
and
I'll be
rock
right at my
and-
post.
well,
Tomorrow.
especially in trap and
Bright and
dance,
early
there's
tomorrow.
not enough
Because I'm definitely not plagued. As
heavy
spry as a
hittingness,
spring
like,
chicken.
we have a
That's old
fantastic sound
Abernathy.
system that costs me about $250 to install and update and upgrade.
You some sort of
Like, that's
wandering
how you listen to our
alienist?
music, and
Walking
it's
into a
just-
man's own domicile,
some music
pestering
feels
him
a
about
bit
his
empty
mental
without
state?
it, without like, you know, that added distortion or like the heaviness from
Silas
metal
knows,
and
doesn't he?
rock.
That's why he sent you. That's why he wants
Hence
me to
why
pay
we
up.
listen to a lot of
knows.
metal covers. Like we could put up a playlist for you if you want to.
Sounds like he's already
onto
told you. I'm dying.
whatever you want to
I'm
listen
not
to.
long for this world. The
we
date of my
have,
expiration is
like,
fast
Every
approaching.
song has a metal
And
cover,
soon
which I
I
like,
shall be ushered through the
because
great
it's how I
cannery in
keep
the
up to date
skies.
with, like, you know, what's on
It's
in
plague.
music and stuff.
Has
you
to
know?
be.
Without
Silas
having to
knows. He knows I got one
defile
foot in my grave, and
my
now he wants to
Spotify
charge
with
me for the other one.
Not great music, in my opinion. Like Cebu will agree that. Oh, we have available points. Cebu will agree that we
You are?
that
I'll
we
pay your fees.
got a
I don't
lot
want
of
any trouble
music
from Silas.
that
But
a
if
lot
you
of
could see a way to
want
freelancing for me,
enjoy.
I could really use the help.
But like, you know, that's kind of the thing, you know, about music, you know. Each person develops their own taste differently, and for us it's rock and metal, you know. Because we're kind of outcasts, you know, we don't deal well
There's
with
a
people.
cache. I need you to
have
break
a
it.
tendency to
Nab
just
that.
be by ourselves and just do our own thing. Oh, excuse me. Like that said, we do have friends.
Just
but,
keep
you
your
know,
head down when you're in there.
We much prefer
Marauders.
the company of each other.
I know
It's
that.
like
Reed
we've known
would have
each
wrote
other
me
for
up.
4 or 5 years,
Constable
like,
would
and
have
it's
locked
just
me
gone
up
to a taste
and
bad.
wrote me up. Could have gone to see the
People
good
outside
vicar,
of
but
our lives that we
never
don't
did find my courage.
immediately talk to kind of fall to the wayside, as with everything else. Like, we have friends and
You're
family
making a mistake
groups,
working for Abernathy.
but outside of that, like our small groups, we haven't been outside in months. We
Excuse
haven't
me.
talked to anyone in months.
I'm Esther Blaine,
which,
Spacious
you know,
Choice
is kind of
Actuary.
understandable.
I overheard your talk with
But also at the
Abernathy.
same time, it's kind of like,
I hope
really?
you're not thinking
You're
about
not
getting
spending
him
time
that
with other
medicine.
people, you know?
Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac.
But that's the case. That's what you
Anthracillin
have
is
to deal
wasted
with.
on him. You're better off selling it to me instead.
Okay, he hasn't seen me steal that. But like, yeah, no, like, I kind of want to build a nice community here for all of us.
All I'm saying is Abernathy's worked in this town longer
So we
than
can,
some of
like,
us
you
been
know,
alive.
chill, chat, maybe play some
How do I
online
put this
games
gently?
together. Because
He's,
a lot of my friends wouldn't
He's
be
got a lot of
interested
cobwebs up in his attic.
the games I would play, because they're very much single player or couch co-op, which I
I
can't
probably
blame
shouldn't
them.
tell
So
you.
this is Abernathy,
Don't want
we're
you
both not
implicated
doing
for
there,
what
so-
I'm trying to do. All right. Can't reach out to corporate without crossing a river of red tape, so I'm reaching out to you. I'm paid better than Abernathy. Whatever he's giving you, I will do you one better. That's all I can ask of you.
You read the latest report.
Only the part that said we make
Hasn't abandoned us. Cannery could use those extra hands.
Nothing we can do about that.
We're gonna have another zero G.
I'm dying. I'm down to death. I'm down to death. sorry to hear that. Oh wow, you're the first person. See, I always feel with this type of game, if you're just apologetic a bit more, they're usually just okay with it. Like, yeah, you can be mean to them, but like, not like unlike in real life. If you're
I don't
nice
know
to
you.
people, they'll be nice back to you. You know, I'm paying for you somewhere in trouble.
Uh-huh. Be unreliable, you say? Never
Open
heard
up,
of any
yeah.
company supply ship with that. I don't know what you're about,
Get him
but this
medicine.
here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company
What's this
folk
community
here.
center? Okay. That's grand.
You really think so? That's kind of you. I've been trying to keep the floors clean.
So,
You got
like,
no
if any
idea
of
how
you had
long
any
it takes to
music,
scrub the tiles.
that you like
Guess I
listen to
misreckoned
or
you.
would want to suggest.
Sorry
Give
about
me
that.
give me
I didn't
little
mean to be curt.
telling about
We
it.
just got some problems lately.
Like, I'm open to everything.
I can
Like,
get
I've
you a
listened to
drink if you'd
everything
like.
From, like,
Gotta ask you to enjoy your beverage within the premises,
who's a
though.
Moonlight,
Can't risk you bringing a drink over
Manifesto,
those
to-
deserters.
See, I've got
You
all
understand.
this weird music. 2 seconds there.
Traitors. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway.
Like, I don't know. Like,
Coming right up.
as a metalhead, I listen to a lot of different things, you know. Like, I listen from everything from like Sabaton onwards, you know. Let me worry about that. I also think the animation for like the speaking in this is amazing. So who do you think we should give this stuff to? Lane or Abernathy? Now, we can turn in Abernathy as well for being, like, crazy, which people seem to love. But we can also go and do other things, you know? Let's see if it's here. So, now, in a moment, you'll see why I took that.
Look at this, little friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
Part of the side quest that I'm doing. So it's not too bad. You can see I'm stealing everything I can get my hands on, my grubby little hands. But also, always closing the door before I go in. Well, before I go in, after I go in. Because if you close it, they can't follow you and be like, stop stealing. And not gonna go up there. I'm just gonna give it a quick save because it loves using data on me. Oh, I should probably sell all my gubbins to her. She's lovely. I like her.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
Don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you.
They're very southern. I love the fact that they're very
It's not the
southern.
best
They're very
choice.
fun.
It's Spacer's choice. And before you ask, I'm all...
Her eyebrows remind me of my ex, though. She
Music
had
to my ears.
dodgy eyebrows, too. So you're not going to serve me a drink. Something's going on here that I should know about. Charm, what a fine establishment. Go bother me. There are a bunch of random sauce and one ugly bartender. See, if we charm her, she might sleep with us. No, she won't. But like the main point of this is just like, you know, I want to keep everyone on my side. Just generally. Because most of these people are nice. And they don't really deserve the backlash that I could give them. Because, like, you know, these are just people like you and I. You know, selling our souls to, like, you know, a company just to make sure we get paid, you know? What's about deserters? I like dessert. Fucking can I do you for? I'll have a drink. I want to talk about in this place. I feel like chatting up beyond that. We'll trade a few things. Cool. Thanks, Kim. So another band I forgot to talk about was Cellar Darling. Probably one of my favorite bands to come out of the last. Wow,
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
Years. They're
Don't worry.
really good.
I wouldn't do that to you.
I enjoy her singing. They have like songs like Avalanche, Death, like look them up. They're very good. If you want to hear some like really proggy metal, but like not really proggy metal that has a female singer, they're your band. Cause like
and your rations yet?
Real prog rock, in fact. More
2
than
whole
anything else,
cans of
'cause, like, she
saltuna.
rocks hurdy-gurdy, and they play everything what's like, because I learn most things by ear. When I was doing a version of a cover of their song, it seemed
Something
like
you
it was in B standard, which is a 7-string tuning for the most part. And you know, as someone who plays music, it was very
Yes,
fun to
what
hear
is it?
something different, you know.
You're an outsider.
Like, for something that's on a 7-string, 'cause like a lot of stuff on 7-string is a lot of genty stuff. Like you got a bit of Meshuggah, you got a bit of Periphery, you have a lot of bands like Animals Leaders, some tech bands like
Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town?
There we go, so we can put away our gun. This person's...
They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with
Let me see
nothing.
what you're trading.
No. How about, work fortifies the spirit. True exhaustion awaits idle hands.
Nothing I need. Ooh, what you have? Funtime Barrel, Mag Power, Plasma. Yeah, I still don't have enough of that.
The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time.
There's something I've
Contentment
noticed
is
as well
found
since,
by accepting
starting
one's
this
role in
replay
that
of
grand
it.
plan.
Because this is like coming through the optical cable out to my through
The
sound
Order
system.
of Scientific Inquiry,
You can really
also
get
known
that
as
bassy
scientism to the
bump
layperson.
from it when I'm just trying to like swap parts of the menu. I find it hilarious.
What would you like to discuss?
So before we carry on, like I know this is a lot of
Mechanical
boring stuff
tomfoolery
that
is
I'm
well
doing,
out of my
but,
purview. I suggest
pretty
you
much
take such
just
matters
make
to Mr.
sure I don't
Thompson
have to
in the cannery.
worry
Oh, and a word of
about
warning.
finding out-
If you're
finding out
considering
other
wandering
things.
around outside the safety of the town, you'd best
There
be
is a jump here
cautious.
that's very hard to do. That I can't really remember. Why I have to
Marauders
get
are
up there,
about.
but you have to get up there.
Though if you are planning on venturing outside, I do have a proposition that may interest you.
I think I've got to
One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book.
Secondary school when I was like 16, 15, you know, when you weren't a nice kid, you know, there was a guy called Crazy Dave.
I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for
he was
such
probably a
information
nice
to
guy,
fall into
but
public consumption.
I can't remember why we called him Crazy Dave. I think it's just because he talked to himself, which is unfair, like, you know, but like...
Glad
you
we
know,
see
at
eye
the
to
age
eye.
of-
It's a handwritten
age,
journal,
it's
a faded blue cover with the
something we
name
need to do. Right,
Mbakonu
so
handwritten
we'll
in
go
the
to
lower
Pastor
corner.
first.
I'll
'Cause
mark
like I
where I
said,
saw it
like
on your
getting
map.
all my side
Assuming
missions
you're
done
serious?
before I have to deal with that thing. Vicar Mark. 2 seconds there. I just need to double check that I didn't just stop
Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Yeah, it's still recording. Okay, we're still good. Sorry about that. Resume. Vicar Marx.
You're safer inside the walls.
Maximilian. So one of my favorite covers, metal covers, is I'm looking for so one of my favorite covers of recent is Twilight of the Thunder God by Sabaton. Their cover is amazing. If you look up the original by Amath Amathe, I can't pronounce how to actually pronounce it, but they're like, you know, a proper Viking metal band. I listen to the cover because it's amazing if you don't like harsh vocals. Which is also a very good song. Like, listening to it, the drummer put in a bit more into it. Which is nice, you know? It seems a bit more upbeat and faster tempo, but that's because also they're probably not tuned down to B standard, I think, as well. The end of the world. Why is that? So I'm playing this on Game Pass as well before, if you're wondering. You know, the monthly subscription to Xbox. Much better than the PlayStation 1, if I'm going to be honest. More free games, EA Play, and Ubisoft Plus are supposed to be coming as well. To Xbox, I think. Now, they may be coming. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Someone you say. Tell me more. Rhetorical book. So, like, you know, hopefully that Ubisoft games and stuff, and the EA games, like, you know, they have the Mass Effect trilogy now. Like, the Mass Effect trilogy was probably one of my favorite games to play. Like, yeah, the end of 3 was awful, and the pacing of 3 was awful. Like, I personally believe that they should have led with, like, you know, what's happening with the Reapers halfway through the game, you know, on disc 2. You're looking for which is the illustrated manual. But yeah, like, Mass Effect was a good game. Just pity how it ended. Like, everyone was angry at it. Everyone. I was angry at it. Like, I'd sunk weeks into that game, months into that game, like everyone else. And for them to turn around and go like, this is your option. These 3 options. It's like, really? Or the secret fourth one if you shot the AI interface. And obviously, there's no point in saying spoilers. The game has been out since time memoriam, you know? Like, it's been out longer than, you know, than anything else I can remember of that show. And of that era, like, you know? I thoroughly loved Mass Effect. The only downside to Mass Effect for me was like, jumping's needed. Like, in this you get a double, which is nice and handy for when you need to get around things or when you need to get away from enemies. In Mass Effect, all I had was a vault in number 2 and 3, and vaulting isn't great when you're used to games like Horizon Zero. Well, what was around back when that came out? Like, there's a lot of games that had the ability to jump, and I think that makes or breaks a game sometimes. Like, I know in Dark Souls you probably can't jump because you need those buttons for block, attack, dodge, roll, and all those stuff. But in Mass Effect, you really didn't need some of that. Like, I'll be doing a gameplay of it as well later on. Also, there's just like little hidden things around the areas around the map. A lot of you will find that boring, but like, you know, you can kind of use my thing as a walkthrough to my video gameplay. It's not super exciting, like it's not, oh my god, he's the best player in the world. It's more like, I'll show you where everything is, I'll show you how to get at things, and like, you know, you'll have a good understanding of how to play this game yourself. Like, there will be spoilers in it, and I can't guarantee that you will see something that you don't want to see in this game before you play it. But that said, the game has been out for a good while.
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir.
But yeah, like,
you
I
asked
thoroughly
why
enjoy
it's
this
taking
game.
so long.
Seems we've got a
It's
guest.
like one of those games
Really
just
now,
can come
Parvati, I
back
do
to
wish
time
you'd
and
spoken
time
up.
again,
I do
play
apologize.
differently.
I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or
Which
I
is
might have
nice,
welcomed
'cause,
you at
like,
the gates
you know,
myself.
You can sometimes just buy a game like Dead Space, which
You
great
were
game,
saying, Miss
you
Holcomb.
know, scared the ever
It's just
bejesus out
what
of me.
Bess needs is
But,
a
like,
proper
also it was a case
refurbish.
that,
I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my
But yeah,
guests to
like, you know,
witness
with,
such a
like, Dark
row.
Souls and stuff like
Now,
that,
what can I
Dead
do for
Space,
you?
There's only really one way of doing it, you know. Whereas in games like this, you can just, it's not as linear.
I'm Reed Thompson,
Like,
Outpost
it's a proper
Administrator. I must
RPG
say,
where you can
wearing
just
a Marauder's outfit
gallivant
is in
for
very
hours,
poor
which I
taste.
do.
I do wish you'd show your uniform a little more
Which is
respect.
A lot of my gameplay hours is just me going through everything, making sure I get everything, making sure that I've taken everything.
Yes, so it dawns
which is probably
on me.
point for all you guys.
Seems I allowed my
which I don't
excitement
blame
to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
But like, that's one of my favorite things about
Only
games,
regulator we got is
just
the
walking
hooked up
around
to the
and
town
trying to find
transformer.
things, trying to figure out
Mr.
things,
Thompson ain't liable to be
see if
keen on
there's anything
dismantling it.
cool and
I
fun to
beg your
find,
pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such
which, you
thing.
know,
I can't let you have
some
our
people
power
probably don't
regulator.
enjoy, but I
But
thoroughly enjoy the
I happen to know of another one. And I
looking
happen to
for
know
different
exactly
types
how
of
you may retrieve it
aspects
without
of
frying
things.
yourself in the process.
because
There's a power
I
regulator
like
in the old
everything.
botanical
I'm also a
lab.
bit of an achievement
It's
hunter.
mostly abandoned, so go down to the geothermal
Like, there
plant.
was a
Reroute
achievement
power.
in Borderlands 2 to jump on X amount of couches, models, shit. Was all that stuff. Like in Borderlands, there was a thing where you could sit on all the couches, and you.
I was
could
not
get,
entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally
get things for
inhabited,
that,
but there are
like
people
extra
who
guns
live
and
there.
things. Which is kind of really cool, which is kind of really nice.
The people living in the botanical labs. They're
Whereas in this,
deserters,
it's just,
former
you've done this,
workers.
you've
I
got
need them back at their
X amount of
posts. I
achievements
need
for it,
them
you know,
to come
which
home.
is nice. When
My hope is
you're
that by
playing on
cutting
your
off
own,
their power, you will
but I also
convince
thoroughly
those deserters
enjoy,
to
like,
come
you know,
back to
I will
town.
play with people
Before you go to the
online from
plant,
time to
I
time,
want you
like,
to
if
stop
you-
by the
if there's
botanical
an
lab.
online game that you wanna play
Speak to
with
their
me,
leader, Adelaide. Tell
I could try
her
and
the
find a
power's
copy
about
of
to
it.
go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
That's grand. Also, by the way, if you want to pause any gameplay during the time, do.
Adelaide's older than
because
the other
realistically,
deserters.
I go through all
She's
these
dignified,
dialogues
kindly.
and,
From what I understand,
all these
her camp
selection
looks to her
boxes
for
and stuff
leadership.
Real quick, like I know the game premise myself, so I'm just letting them speak out the bit that he.
That is not a
experienced
hypothetical
yet.
I enjoy
That's
entertaining.
it, like, I
We
remember
need
very much
Adelaide
how the game
back.
goes, so I'm just letting it up to
Nonetheless,
you.
I will settle for the return of her followers. We belong to one community. The Spacer's
Maybe in the
Choice.
future, I might do an interactive stream. Like
My
stream
dad
live
told
on
me all
YouTube
about the
or
plant.
something.
Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr.
So,
Thompson.
Maybe one of
Sure.
the things that we do.
I hesitate to
live
part
stream on
ways with
YouTube
Miss
or
Holcomb,
Twitch,
but I cannot
where
deny
we'll
that
play a
she
game with,
is
like, you know,
talented
yes or no
and may prove
questions,
useful to you.
Things that
You will need
impacts
an
the game
administrative
more so,
passcode in
like,
order to enter the planet.
if you
I am
have
trusting you with
an
mine,
idea of, like,
and
what
trusting Miss Holcomb to
interaction
guide
want
you
to
if
be
you'd like.
done next. Like, for example, if you play the game and you know someone's
Great!
let me
I
know
got my
what
wrenches
interaction
and
you want me to go through.
diagnosticators and hairpins and engine
Otherwise, I'll
tape,
just be
so
playing it like I
I'm all
normally
set.
play it myself.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you.
We
And
can
thank you
start with
again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
So yes, I am wearing a Marauder's outfit. It just is the best armor I have at the moment.
we better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk. Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me.
So we
It's
can
just
actually look the history of
Mr.
what they're
Thompson
saying
has
as
his
well
own
if you
view
want to see
on
that.
matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
It's all the stuff you talked about, but mostly, I remember most of it.
Oh, he ain't a liar. He believes every word he says. It's just, he doesn't always get where other folk are talking from.
You're just going to have to forgive me.
To
for
Mr.
a few
Thompson,
moments
a
there where I
person's a
just
gear.
closed
It does
the
its
blinds
job
in my house
quiet
as
like.
well. Just a moment.
If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. I don't know anybody well. I mostly listen to them talk, kept my head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me. Not any sort of dissident. Life's hard here, especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
So we like Pravati. Pravati has a great story in this.
Books are for rich folk.
Unfortunately, we can't.
I wonder what he
romance
wants
her,
with something
but,
like that.
You know, she's a lovely girl in this. Her storyline's great. Her arc is great. I really like having her around. Hairpins and an engine tape.
Thanks, ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
I don't know what I pressed.
I've always felt weird in here.
So at the end of the game, I'm going to come back. We're going
Any
to
progress on that matter we discussed?
I've never
Oh, Miss Holcomb. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
You know, bad idea to kill the
This
people
here's
around
Vicar
here,
DeSoto.
you know,
He's
especially
always
for
offering
Pravati on
spiritual
your team,
counsel
like,
to
we like
those that need
Pravati.
it.
She's a lovely
Thank you
girl.
for the kind assessment, Miss Holcomb. I admit, I've been quite interested to make our outsider's acquaintance. Please get it. What would you like to discuss?
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink
one
away.
Of my favorite guitar solos
I can't imagine what would be so
years
grave as to drive her to my
Trouble
mission.
by Five
What has
Finger Death
Mr.
Punch.
Thompson asked you to do? That seems well within your expertise.
The way we do it's by cutting off power to the others, the ones who left.
Now,
Adelaide
I know a lot of
McDevitt's
you don't
encampment.
like Five Finger
I can
Death
see why
Punch
that troubles you.
because they're kind of like
Miss Holcomb
the
has a soft heart.
redneck
Always has, if you
version
believe the talk.
of metal. I can't blame it for it. Someone's got issues.
They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons.
I thoroughly enjoy the.
Does that strike
song
you
Trouble
as a
by
responsible
Five Finger
life
Death Punch.
choice?
It's one of my favorites. They're kind of seen as like the Nickelback of metal, but like unlike Nickelback, you can actually, you know, proudly
Assuming
say,
your
"Listen
goal
to
is
Five
to
Finger
save
Death
as many as
Punch."
possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
One of the songs I definitely
If it were as easy as a few
suggest for you to
soothing
listen
words in
to
the right
is
ears,
Red
I'm
Machine.
sure it would have been done
I
already.
don't know if you
Consider
know most of
it's
these people, but
a challenge.
Jared Dines, Stevie Turnbuckle, or whatever, or Terry Berry, whatever it is, and what's his name from what's her name Springfield, and so like, you know, there's a few good musicians in it, like Music is Win, Jared Dines, Stevie Turnbuckle, one really good bass player, and what's her name Springfield, Sarah Springfield. Fantastic song. You should look it up. I suppose you can go stop by. But yeah, strongly suggest listening to it. If you really enjoy good guitar playing, not just good guitar playing, good everything. Like if you're interested in like what musicians of a fine caliber can do, I would listen to it. Now that said, I'm not a major fan of Jared Dines anymore. Like he's very much a pro. But like, you know, he's a great musician despite how I feel about his personality. I think he's a great musician, and I think he's very funny. All the praise and all the, you know, attention for years, because like, you know, he's done a very good job on making himself a product and selling himself as a product to metalheads, and you know, he's kind of memey, you know, like a meme. You know, it's still really good. I may not like him as much as I used to, but I do like him sometimes. His music's good. Same with Stevie T. I think his music's fantastic. He's a bit excitable. Like, I'm a hyperactive person too, but he's very OTT, great musician, great channel. I love his comedy. I love everything that he does. But I know for myself, this isn't what we're going to be kind of like at all on this channel. We're going to be a lot more laid back. Like, also, I'm thinking of going back to YouTube for music as well. Like, I do guitar covers. I haven't done a guitar cover in about 10 years because I just haven't had the chance to with work and stuff, and like not having an actual mixer for a good while or an audio interface, which, you know, is a major thing when you're trying to get back into YouTube. So now we're running the Scarlett 2i2, which is fantastic, which is like pretty much a good bass standard, you know. Depends how well that are going to be on your walls, walking on your ways. And we got these like relatively cheap mics on Amazon, which, you know, they do very well for picking up audio. And we got some decent cables. Like, everything we bought was from Amazon, which, you know, before, you know, the official
Something outside the walls.
leaving Europe and everything. Very handy. Now we have, like, import tax,
But Conrad sells real
it's
good
crippling it, you know.
Merciful law. Please
like,
don't touch anything. Your hands are probably
if you're
crawling
outside
with
of
germs.
England, you now have
Physical
to
hygiene
do
recapitulates
import-
moral hygiene.
import
Cleanliness
tax, you know,
is next
which is
to
kind of crippling
lawfulness.
for someone in Ireland because, like, you know, we don't have access to, like, Amazon.
So everyone says,
ES
until
or
someone
Amazon
forgets to
Geo or,
cough
like, you
into
know,
their
the
elbow,
European ones
and then
as
we're all
much.
dying of
Like, if
plague.
you order from the wrong Amazon
I'm
and it
Conrad. You will
goes
report to me
missing,
if your hair fails to meet
Amazon
Spacer's
will be
Choice
like, "Why
aesthetic
didn't you use
standards.
Amazon.co.uk?"
You
It's like,
will also report to
'cause
me
it's like
in the
90
event of
euro
your
to
death,
import a pair of
whereupon
shoes
I will
type of
clean
thing,
and
'cause
prepare your remains
I've
for
been talking to
interment.
people who imported stuff from the UK now, and it's just gone really, 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 really
Ah,
up in price.
gravesite fees.
Like,
Silas and I had talked about this
can
at
buy
length.
things still,
I thought
that's
I'd made it
grand,
clear
we
my
can,
pecuniary situation
we
precludes
can
the
still do a
necessary
lot of things,
restitutions.
Like, we can still use Amazon, but
As broke as
the
pie
fact
crust,
that
friend,
it's,
bitless,
oh yeah, now
indigent,
you have,
destitute.
like, a stay here button,
I
come
simply
here
cannot
button for
afford
your,
it. I am a blemish
NPCs,
on the
which is nice and
prosperity
handy,
of our
which is
fair
the button
settlement.
on the
When I
D-pad.
expire, I
You
expect
change that
Silas
if
to
you want
toss
when you
my
play it
body
yourself.
into a ditch.
But it's very handy. I like having that. Because it's something that you kind of lose in
I
Mass
have to
Effect
be,
3.
if only to prepare myself
And
for my
Andromeda.
inevitable dressing down at
kind
the
of
hands
lose
of
the
corporate.
ability to go like, hey,
Tell
stand there,
Silas
hey, come over
I
to the
can't
door,
afford to pay,
use this as cover.
and that I
And,
fully
like,
expect to have my
Andromeda
medical
was
rights
a
revoked for this dereliction.
decent-ish
With my
game.
apologies.
Like, I know how people feel about it, and I have my own opinions about it
Some
too.
time ago, I fell ill with the plague.
Actually,
By the
what were
grace
you
of the
gonna do?
law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time.
We'll just finish
The
up a
barber
few
work
small
hasn't been
side quests
profitable, you
inside
see.
first before
I've had to
we go
keep
on
this
the main
old place
mission
running with my own
because we're about
savings.
15 minutes into the recording, and
Not a
we've
bad
only really
idea.
just
But I'd
looked
need some
around
kind of
Edgewater
collateral.
and
My pair
all
of
that
lucky
stuff,
clippers.
So we still have like
No,
dialogues
that won't
and
do.
stuff to do inside Edgewater.
Your idea intrigues
So we'll
me,
just
but I'm
finish
afraid
up
I don't have anything to
up on
give
finishing on
Silas.
that dialogue,
I'm open
and
to
then we'll actually go
suggestions.
and shoot people and kill people and shoot stuff.
Much obliged.
Which, you know, would be nice to do in RPG, but, you know, one of the things that you have to kind of remember with this game is there's a lot of content. Like I said, I'm playing this on the Microsoft...
What can I do for you?
The Xbox Gold, you know, thing, so I get this game for free every month. Which, in fairness, like, paying for the price of what? Essentially 4 games a year.
Am I in the
you
company of
get
a fellow doctor?
quite an unlimited amount. Like, there's a lot of stuff that isn't great. Like Recore. Recore wasn't a great game.
Experience
still
was
played
my teacher. Experience
the
and...
gameplay was
So, you want to be an
finicky, the
embalmer,
graphics were a
brochures
bit
1 through
nah.
5. Courtesy of the
whole
Spacer's
thing
Choice
didn't go
Department
down
of
great.
Career
So
Development.
this is Conrad. We have to blackmail him.
You know about Eugene?
Your hands are
How?
crawling with germs.
Then, you know Phyllis suggested selling off Eugene's gold teeth. I didn't approve of the idea. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations
Until
of
someone
poor
forgets to
dental
cough into their
hygiene.
elbow,
He
then we're
took
all
them
going
to his
play.
grave.
Which is kind of funny, seeing as, like, you know, the situation within the world, you know, with COVID and stuff.
That's unthinkable.
You know,
Eugene's
people
body
being like,
and all rare
"We're
earth
all
minerals
gonna
contained
die,"
therein
and,
are
you know, some people
solely
are
the
like, "We're not
property
gonna
of
die."
Spacer's
Some
Choice.
people believing it's
I
hope, some
can't
people
ask
believing it's
Silas to
not.
dig up a man's
be honest,
body
I don't really care
and
what
pry a
people
few
think,
teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills.
Just keep quarantining.
Can I?
Keeping, like, you know,
Are you
contact
asking
with outside
rhetorically?
worlds
Because
to a
if you're being
minimum is what I'm
serious...
doing.
Gross.
Desperate
So
measures,
pretty
Miss
much, I'm
Holcomb.
just trying to be,
Desperate
like, you know,
measures.
smart and sensible.
I'm
like
going
the
to
rest
have to
of us
ask
without
Silas to
being
dig up those
ridiculous.
teeth. It's the only way I'm
I'll
paying
go
my
outside,
gravesite
like,
fees.
I'll pop to the shop for like you know, bits and bobs, but we get Tesco and Aldi.
I'm sure that I have no other choice.
Because it just makes sense.
Here
to do
you
that
are.
way.
Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU.
Nice to him. But yeah, no. Hopefully, things will calm down in the next couple of months. A vaccine is out, so you know, hopefully most of us will get that. I can't wait to get the vaccine. Because you know, I mean, I'll be able to go outside again, see my friends, see my family. I'll be able to go to gigs. I'll be able to go to the pub again. You know, it'll be nice once the vaccine comes around. Because, like, personally, I think it's absolutely mad not to believe in the vaccines. Like, I know people are like, it gives you autism. They're microchipping you. I'm sorry, but me being microchipped, what use would anyone have from that? Oh, he's at home. He's still at home. He's been at home for a week. Is he dead? Maybe. Like the whole arguments of, like, you know, the anti-vaccine thing is ridiculous, so I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to insult anyone, nor do I want to really talk about it. But once the vaccine comes out, it's going to be great, because a lot of things, like from also, when you're playing this game, get this, because it'll be like blackmail you can use against him. So like, use medical, we'll get more XP. But yeah, like Ticketmaster and stuff like that. You know, like Ticketmaster are gonna be like, you're gonna need like a COVID test proving that it was a negative within a couple of days prior to the gig, and you know, you also have to have like a vaccine. It's either or. So personally, the only reason I'm getting a vaccine is so I can go to gigs again and not to be able to catch the death. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do once like the vaccine comes around. I know Cebu will probably get it too. In fairness, a lot of our friends and family will get it, solely because, you know, we kind of want to go outside and see people again, you know, which would be nice. Conrad is so boring. Oh, come on, comrade. You're killing me here. The voice acting isn't bad either. I like the voice acting in this. So that's where we're going to end it today, guys. We've just finished up the whole part with Conrad. He was very annoying, very boring. So that's pretty much it that we're going to do today. And let's go give it a quick save. So tomorrow in game, we are going to go out and about. We are going to head out of here. And we are going to go and head up this direction, up to the northwest of the map. This is the community center we need to go to. These are bandit camps over here. Just old stuff, I think. So this is the community center. Then we get up to here. This is the botanical lab that we need to go to. Then down here. Is it down here maybe? Yeah, then here I think we have to go in to get something to kill robots with. This is another place for marauders. There's a marauder town here that we need to kill people. We need to rescue someone from here for these guys. I'm pretty sure here's another thing. So we're going to do a lot of this next time. We're going to get this area probably like smashed out in about 2 or 3 parts, and then we'll be probably off the Emerald Vale region, and we'll probably head up into space and go to the Groundbreaker. But that's going to be in 2 or 3 parts, so there's nothing really to worry about. And we're just going to update Pravati and her equipment and stuff, because in fairness, some of the stuff that she carries is bloody useless. We'll give her a gun, and we'll give her a gun. Oh. We'll give her an assault rifle, and we'll give her it's a good DPS. 7, 9, swap that over. What perk will we give her? And then you can just set what you need her to do. Right, so next time we shall do a bit more of these. As you can see, we haven't finished anything, but we haven't blotched anything, so we've got a lot of stuff to do next. That's about it. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good evening or good day, whatever time you're watching this. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you the next time on the stream. Bye.